You know, there's something I've noticed after talking to so many wonderful folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. When it comes to money, many of us are making the same few mistakes over and over again. And the thing is, these mistakes aren't always obvious. They creep up slowly, sometimes over years, and before we know it, they've taken a real toll on our financial security. Now, I don't say that to worry you, because the good news is, once we're aware of these mistakes, they're often easy to fix. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In this video, we'll go over 7 financial mistakes seniors still make. Some might surprise you, others might feel a little too familiar, but by the end, you'll have clear, simple ways to avoid them and keep your hard-earned money right where it belongs, in your pocket. So let's start with the first mistake. And this is a big one. Mistake 1, not having a clear plan for required minimum distributions, RMDs. If you've saved money in a traditional IRA or a 401k, you know those accounts have been growing tax-deferred for years. But here's the catch. Once you turn 73, the government says it's time to start taking money out, whether you need it or not. These are called required minimum distributions, or RMDs. Now, you might be thinking, what's the harm in just taking the minimum and leaving the rest to grow? Well, the problem is, if you don't plan carefully, those RMDs can push you into a higher tax bracket. Suddenly, you're paying more in taxes than you expected, and worse, it could even affect your Medicare premiums or Social Security taxes. So, what's the solution? Simple. Don't wait until the last minute. Talk to a financial advisor or tax professional a year or two before you turn 73. They can help you strategize. Maybe you take out a little extra in a lower income year, or convert some of that traditional IRA to a Roth IRA to reduce future taxes. The key is to have a plan so you're not caught off guard. Mistake 2, underestimating healthcare costs. This one hits close to home for a lot of us. We think Medicare will cover everything, but the truth is, it doesn't. There are premiums, deductibles, copays, and, here's the big one, long-term care, which Medicare doesn't cover at all. I've seen too many people dip into their savings because they didn't realize how much a hospital stay, prescription drugs, or even assisted living could cost. And once that money's gone, it's gone. So, what can you do? First, take a hard look at your health. If there's a history of chronic conditions in your family, or if you're already managing a health issue, consider long-term care insurance. Yes, it's an extra expense now, but it could save you tens of thousands later. And if insurance isn't an option, start setting aside money specifically for health care. Even a small amount every month adds up over time. The goal isn't to scare you. It's to make sure you're prepared, so a health crisis doesn't turn into a financial one. Mistake 3, being too conservative with investments. Now this one's tricky, because after a lifetime of working hard for your money, it's natural to want to protect it. But here's the thing. If all your money is sitting in low-interest savings accounts or CDs, inflation is quietly eating away at it. Think about it. If inflation is at 3% and your savings account earns 1%, you're actually losing buying power every year, and over a decade or two. That adds up to a lot of lost money. Now, I'm not saying you should start gambling on risky stocks, but a balanced portfolio with some growth-oriented investments, like dividend-paying stocks or bond funds, can help your money keep up with inflation. The key is to work with a trusted financial advisor who understands your needs and can help you find that sweet spot between safety and growth. And with that, we've covered our first 3 mistakes, but there are 4 more we need to talk about, and some of them might surprise you. So, let's keep going. You know, when it comes to money, sometimes the biggest risks aren't the flashy ones. They're the quiet, everyday choices we make without even realizing the impact they could have down the road. That's why, in this part, we're going to dig into a few more financial mistakes that might be slipping under your radar. Let's start with one that catches a lot of well-meaning folks off guard. Mistake 4, co-signing loans for family without a backup plan. This one tugs at the heartstrings, doesn't it? Maybe your grandchild needs a co-signer for a student loan, or your child is going through a tough patch and needs help with a car loan. It's only natural to want to step in. After all, family comes first. But here's the hard truth. If they can't make the payments, you are on the hook. I've seen too many seniors drain their savings or even risk their own credit because a loan they co-signed went sideways. And the worst part, It can put a strain on those precious family relationships, turning a well-intentioned gesture into resentment. So what's the alternative? If you're determined to help, consider setting clear boundaries. Maybe you gift a smaller amount of money outright, no strings attached, instead of tying yourself to a long-term loan. Or if you do co-sign, have an honest conversation upfront about what happens if things go wrong. It's not about distrust, it's about making sure your own financial security isn't jeopardized. Mistake 5. Falling for too good to be true scams. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm too smart to fall for a scam. But the truth is, today's scammers are sophisticated. They don't just send poorly written emails anymore. They'll call you pretending to be the IRS, your bank, or even a grandchild in trouble. They'll sound convincing. And it's not just phone calls. Some scams come dressed up as exclusive investment opportunities, promising sky-high returns with no risk. But here's the rule of thumb. If it sounds too good to be true, it almost always is. The best defense: slow down. If someone pressures you to act right now, that's a red flag. Hang up, check with a trusted family member, or call the company directly using a number you know is real. And when it comes to investments, always run them by a financial advisor first. A few minutes of double-checking could save you from losing thousands. Mistake 6. Ignoring the power of a will and estate plan. This is one of those things we all know we should do, but it's easy to put off. Maybe you think, my family knows what I want, or I don't have enough for it to matter. But here's the reality. Without a will or estate plan, the state decides what happens to your money, your home, even your personal belongings. And that process can be slow, expensive, and stressful for your loved ones. It's not just about who gets what. It's about making things easier for the people you care about. A simple will can ensure your wishes are followed. And documents like a healthcare proxy or power of attorney mean someone you trust can make decisions if you're unable to. You don't need a fancy lawyer to get started either. There are affordable online services, or your local senior center might offer free workshops on estate planning. The important thing is to take that first step, so your family isn't left guessing during an already difficult time. Now we've covered 3 more mistakes, but there's one last big one we need to talk about, and it's something many of us don't even realize we're doing. So let's keep going. We've covered a lot of ground so far, from RMDs to scams to the importance of having a will, but there's one last financial mistake that's so common, yet so often overlooked. And if you take nothing else away from this video, I hope this one sticks with you, because it could make all the difference in your golden years. Mistake 7. Not adjusting your spending as your life changes. Think about it. When you first retired, you might have had a budget that made perfect sense. Travel, hobbies, maybe even helping out the grandkids. But as the years go by, life changes. Maybe you're not traveling as much, or your healthcare costs have gone up, or inflation has made everyday expenses higher than you planned for. The problem? Many of us don't stop to reassess. We keep spending the way we always have, assuming our savings will last, until one day we realize they might not. Here's the fix. At least once a year, sit down and take a hard look at your spending. Are there subscriptions you're not using? A car you could downsize? Maybe even a home that's bigger than you need? Small adjustments now can add years to your financial security. And if you're not sure where to start, a fee-only financial planner can help you create a sustainable spending plan that adapts with you. Now let's take a step back. We've talked about 7 financial mistakes, but here's the good news. Just by watching this video, you're already ahead of the game. Awareness is the first step, and now you've got the tools to avoid these pitfalls. Remember, managing money in retirement isn't about perfection. It's about making small, smart choices that add up over time. Maybe you start by scheduling that RMD conversation with your advisor, or finally drafting that will you've been putting off. Whatever it is, take it one step at a time. And most importantly, don't let fear hold you back. Yes, these mistakes are common, but they're also fixable. You've spent a lifetime building your savings. Now it's about protecting them so you can enjoy the retirement you've earned. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you encountered any of these financial challenges? What steps have you taken to stay on track? Your experience could help someone else watching. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more practical tips on making the most of your retirement. because you deserve to live these years with confidence, security, and peace of mind. Here's to your financial well-being today, tomorrow, and all the years ahead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Do subscribe to keep the circle growing.